Hey everybody, all our fellow listeners, it is the Nerdquest Podcast, episode 4. I can't talk today.
Nope.
Obviously. We are getting pretty scenic today, Josh.
Yeah, we are.
We are outside. But, so Nerdquest Podcast, as always, we have...
I'm Josh, a.k.a. Zorgulon, Destroyer of Worlds.
You already know.
And this is...
Jacob. Just Jacob.
Yeah. He doesn't have a fun name like me.
Now, before we start, just want to remind you guys we're not affiliated with the Nerdquest indie movie. And today we originally said on the Facebook and the Tumblr that we were going to do comic book miscasts, but Josh and I kind of goofed. And
I didn't do my research.
Neither did I, and we got about 20 minutes into the podcast before we realized
this ain't happening, fool.
We gave people we didn't like in the movies, but we couldn't come up with examples of better people who could play them.
Exactly.
So we decided to go to our plan B. And Josh, what is our plan B?
Favorite video game series.
Now, I would say that the comic book miscast movie would be our podcast would be a little bit shorter than usual, but today you're all screwed. So yeah, video games, our favorite video game series, and if you know Josh and I, we are very, very into playing video games.
We loves our games.
We do loves our games. We have our certain favorites. I'm really into sports games as usual.
You want to do a countdown like 3, 2, 1?
3, 2, 1.
Of our favorite game series.
Of our favorite games? Oh, okay, yeah, sure. I'm fine with that.
All right.
What's your third favorite?
Third favorite series. That's a tough one.
Well, Josh is thinking about that. I'll go with my third favorite.
I'd take a while.
For the longest time, I was a very avid PlayStation fan. But it broke into my top 3 in about 2001 when it came out, and that would be Halo. I love the Halo series. I've played them all. I had 1 and 2 on because I had the original generation Xbox.
Yeah. And
I played 1 and 2 on that.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got rid of my Xbox. I know Josh is making a very mean face at me. But I was still able to play it because I had friends who had Xboxes and had Halo, so I was able to make my way through 3, ODST, Reach, and 4. Well, I got 4 because I purchased an Xbox, and I came back to the light side. I say that with air quotes. And one of the first games I bought when I got my 360 was Halo 4. And I played it, and it's just, I love the game, I love the series, and I read the books, well, most of them, I haven't read all of them, and so I have a somewhat knowledge of Halo, and it's a fun game to play, and because it's kind of a different concept of what other games have had, and it's just really fun. I don't do a lot of first-person shooters,
right,
especially online, because I suck at it.
Oh, yeah.
But Halo, I'm actually pretty good with online, and I have fun with it all the way around. And it's a story you can really play over and over again, and never really get tired of it. So yeah, that would definitely be my number 3. What would yours be, Josh?
My number 3 is probably going to be Soul Calibur, which is kind of funny. If anybody knows me, I normally dislike fighting games with a passion. On my personal blog, the Marksman Sites, Marksman157. I bash fighting games along with racing games all the time.
I gotta say, I hate racing games too.
It's turning left. I mean, come on, people. I can master that in my sleep. But anyway,
no, Mario Kart was fine.
Cue the hate from the racing fans.
Yep.
Well, Mario Kart's not so much a racing game as it is destroy everyone game. But I digress. Soul Calibur, I don't know. I've ended up getting almost all the iterations of it from 2 on. I do not have Soul Calibur or Soul Edge.
I never got into Soul Calibur. I do like fighting games, I did to a point. My friends always had Tekken, or Dead or Alive, and I got into those, and we would play those for hours, and I'd get my ass whooped, and then I'd go on a roll, and
we've seen a little bit of that resurging with Injustice.
It's a bad habit, really. It's like a drug. Like I'll start playing it and I'll abuse it and I'll go off it for a while and then I'll just come back to it.
He suffers withdrawals.
Yeah, and Josh has seen me. Like once I start when I get on a little bit of a slump, I get tense and I get frustrated quick.
I've never been able to see this before. You can actually see the muscles in your shoulders and neck nodding.
Oh God, it does. It's true.
They're doing it just thinking about it.
when I first played Injustice with Josh, after our first podcast, we played it for a couple more hours, and we went back and forth playing. And then I got into kind of a slump right before I left, and I was so tense and so frustrated. I was leaving Josh's house. I'm like, my shoulders hurt because I was just so stressed out from it all. But yeah, Soul Calibur I just never got into, and it's always been like pretty well liked and respected.
Soul Calibur, I really like it because it does have a little bit of hypersexualization, but not as much as a lot of other fighting games.
Dead or Alive.
Mortal Kombat.
And Mortal Kombat.
But also, it's a combination of historical fiction, which I love, and it's really accurate historical fiction.
Yeah, Josh really gets into that stuff.
And high fantasy with, the enchanted blades and stuff. And I like that. I think it's fun. Also, it's fun pitting a German mercenary against a ninja.
Yeah, of course. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? Isn't that what everybody wants to see?
Exactly. Also, it's kind of weird, though, because normally I bash anime for having these gigantic swords, and then we see Siegfried with this probably 4 to 6 foot long blade. It's probably a foot wide. It's a little bit smaller than the Buster Sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of big swords, that'll lead into my second favorite series.
What's that?
Josh hates this genre, and he with a passion.
What series is this, Jake?
This would be Final Fantasy. Most of you know I go. My gamer tag is Jekt. You laugh, I will kill you.
I said from one of the 2 Final Fantasy games that I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, I haven't. My 2 favorites are Final Fantasy VIII with Leon, or Squall, as people know him, and then Final Fantasy X, where I get Jekt from. And if you know anything about Final Fantasy X, Jekt is a non-playable character.
But he's awesome.
He's such a badass, though. He's just, there's just something about him. Like, I wish he was a playable character. And he is in Dissidia, but I haven't played that. It's just, I loved playing through Final Fantasy X. I loved picking up the Jekt orbs, or the memory orbs, where you could look into them and it was a recording. And just seeing his personality and the kind of person he was, he's a dick, from what Titus remembers. He was a terrible father. He was emotionally abusive. Yeah. He was just, every chance he got,
and
they made it look like he was beating down Titus. But as you watch the Jekt orbs and the story progresses, you realize that he really did love his son, and just the sacrifices he made to become the evil that he ended up was heart-wrenching.
Honestly, my favorite character from that game was Auron.
Auron's another badass. Auron I have fun with. He's always in my fight party. It would be Titus, Auron, and then someone else. And I would normally go between Titus's overdrive and Auron's overdrive and just about destroy anything.
Yeah, well, but I guess one of the reasons I don't like JRPGs, in addition to the unwieldy leveling system, the menus you have to fight through.
I'll admit the leveling system in Final Fantasies are kind of wonky, and they can get kind of confusing. Final Fantasy X probably had my least. Being that it's my favorite Final Fantasy game, probably had my least favorite leveling system, where it was like everybody had their own branches that they could, and they were orbs, but you had to collect certain orbs to level up and stuff.
And I don't like party games for the most part,
like Mario Party and
Final Fantasy X is definitely a party game. Dragon Age is a party game, and even Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was a party game.
You didn't like that?
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, but it's still a party game.
I really did like Knights of the Old Republic. Anything BioWare pumps out, I'll probably play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you mean. What people hate about Final Fantasy VIII with Squall is the fact that the people that are in your party, they follow you as you run around. Yeah. So it'd be like Leon and then his 2 counterparts that fight with him, and people were just like, "It's just annoying." And it did get sometimes, because sometimes they got in the way and they would block you, and so you'd have to finagle and run around. So
the finagling is a great word, and I wish to use it more often in conversation.
Yes,
but I think my Number two.
Number 2
is a tie.
A tie between what?
The Elder Scrolls series.
Elder Scrolls. I've only played Skyrim.
I've played Morrowind, although not as much as the other two. I played Oblivion a lot, and then of course I've played a ton of Skyrim.
I'll admit, Skyrim is addicting. Out of those 3, rank them from like least to best.
In order, 1 being the best, I'd probably say Oblivion is 3. Honestly, I'd say Morrowind is 2. I'm going to get a ton of hate for that, even in reality. And Skyrim as 1. Because to me, graphics, although they're not like all important, they play a pivotal role.
Skyrim is a beautifully designed game.
It is. And people get all up in arms about essential and non-essential NPCs, like the ones you can kill and not. But I actually like having that because that means if I have an essential NPC on a quest, an accidental sword stroke won't kill him.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Now, you said you'll get crap for saying that Morrowind is less than Skyrim.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. I've always heard that like Skyrim has been the best one.
Yeah, and part of it was that it was online, but oh man, I've gotten so much hate for that. I think Skyrim is the best because it has the most accurate archery system. It has, in my opinion, the best array of weapons, even though the stats for them are simplified.
Yeah.
Morrowind, however, Morrowind does have a superior arsenal. I'm wrong. Because with Skyrim, you roughly have swords, axes, and maces for melee weapons, and then you have the two-handed varieties. With Morrowind, you had those. You had throwing weapons. You had short bow, long bow. You had different types of shields. Like in Skyrim, there's kind of a set size for shields.
Yeah.
It's about shoulder to mid-thigh.
Yeah.
But in Morrowind, there's that, or there's tower shields.
Shields. The tall ones.
The tall rectangular ones go to about forehead to about ankle. But they're also like spears and cudgels and all sorts of things.
No, from what I remember, Skyrim is that you can. There was another shield which the guards use, which is like a circular buckler.
Yeah,
with like a typical normal shield that people see, but I never used them because they never really had. They never really had any significance. I always used like ebony shields or
the best to get your hands on.
Yeah, the best. Like it became Dragon Bone and Dragon Scales. I was never. I forgot what the whatever the one above dragon is. It's the Daedric. I never got had the patience or the time to round all that up to make Daedric armor or anything.
Well, the guy that's passing by is my father on his way to work, and he thoroughly enjoys Skyrim for the audience. And
absolutely.
So you want to say hi to the podcast real quick?
Sure. Hello.
But yes, and he makes a character oftentimes with smithing, and very quickly he'll get all the way up to making Daedric weaponry and armor. Just partially because it's good for money, and kit yourself out the best possible way, and you never have to worry about taking something down.
Absolutely. Daedric warhammers are wonderful.
And what's your favorite weapon?
Bow.
The bow?
Bow or the warhammer?
Yeah, I knew that one.
Nice.
That's what I was expecting.
So input.
So he's on his way to work now. Yeah, and as for the other series that's tied with the
I'm sure you have tied one.
I did.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Wow. When it comes to favorite series, I did not think that. Pokemon is definitely in my top 5. If I were to make a top 5, anybody that's ever played a game, picked up a game, has played Pokemon or some iteration of the Pokemon games. Like they had Pokemon Puzzle, which is like Tetris for Pokemon, and then they had
Pokemon
Pinball, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium.
Oh yeah.
My grandma, she had a Nintendo 64, and she played the Pokemon Puzzle League religiously, and she got so good at it. It was ridiculous. But I mean, it just kind of shows that Pokemon didn't really have an age range.
Yeah, no, Pokemon is kind of trans age. I mean, but I mean, Pokemon for me shaped my childhood. Blue version came out when I was about 5 years old, and I remember I washed cars every day, for a week, and I got $20. I was this was when you could get a game for $20 new.
$20. Oh.
Yeah. And back in my day, you could get a video game for $20 brand new.
I still remember when you could get a brand new PlayStation 2 game for $40.
Yeah.
Oh, now it costs an arm and a leg to get a new game.
So I bought Pokemon Blue for my Game Boy Color, and I played the crap out of it. I still have it.
I want to say that Pokemon was probably the first video game I ever played.
Mm-hmm.
One of my cousins had a old black and white brick Game Boy.
It was like a Nokia. It was the Nokia. It was
the definitely. That thing would never break. You could drop it off the Empire State Building and
oh look, it's still got my game going.
I didn't lose any kind of progress. Yeah, whatever about words and talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played it and I got hooked. And so the first system I ever had was a Game Boy Color.
Yeah, I had a Game Boy Color. I played. Let's see. And I as you all know, and for those of you that are new, I have a younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
And Pokemon always released in pairs. His first Pokemon game was Pokemon Silver.
Jesus.
Mine was Pokemon Gold. My second one was Pokemon Gold.
Uh-huh.
So we would always get them in the pairs.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Gold, he got Silver. I got Ruby, he got Sapphire.
And it was actually essential to get them in the pairs because each game
had certain Pokemon you could trade for.
Yeah, like with Pokemon Red and Blue, that you couldn't get all the starters.
Right. No.
You had to link it up and you had to trade for them.
Yep.
And that's what you had to do to get your Pokédex full and all that. And I didn't know that until probably about a year ago because I never really.
Right.
I never researched or looked at it. I just picked up my Game Boy and played, and I figured, I'm just not looking in the right area to get these Pokemon. And
nope.
No, I'm just not looking in the right game.
Yeah. But yeah, my brother and I, we've had a great run with Pokemon. I actually, in 4th grade, that was about the time Gold and Silver were coming out.
Mm-hmm.
We got Gold and Silver, and I bought from a friend his old Red game. He gave it to my brother.
I still have Pokemon. I have Pokemon. I know exactly where it is because it's on my nightstand. I have a yellow Game Boy Color with Pokemon Yellow in it at home.
Yeah, currently Jamie, guest from last time, has my Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah, and I just like it because it's just one of those games where you can just pick it up whenever you want. And
it's simple without being for simple people.
Yeah, it's not too simple, but it's still
it has challenge, but it's not ridiculously complex.
You still have a lot of fun with it.
Right.
And it's definitely not as challenging as like Legend of Zelda was on
the Water Temple.
Oh jeez. Or like even Legend of Zelda for Game Boy was that was a challenge a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the last Pokemon game I bought was Silver. Because I think it was the last one for the Game Boy Color, and I never went past the Game Boy Color generation.
I did.
And a lot of my friends did. I just never did. I never got into it because by the time I think Game Boy Advance came out, I had my first PlayStation 2.
And you were hooked on that.
No, I was hooked on that, definitely. Do we want to go to our number 1 series?
Sure. I do have 2 runner-ups that I can list afterwards.
Definitely. I have an honorable mention afterwards, too. Yeah, definitely.
Honorable mention is probably better.
But my number 1 all-time favorite, and it came out of the blue because the original game was a sleeper game. No one expected it to get as big as it was, and now it's one of the biggest game series out there, and it's Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it was. It started out as just this one game, and then all of a sudden it blossomed. This beautiful, deadly, hidden-bladed flower.
Definitely, it's Assassin's Creed and BioShock were 2 probably the biggest sleeper games you'll ever play because no one expected BioShock to be big, and now it's got this huge following. And it's another big game.
Ironically, I'm not in it.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not into BioShock.
I know, which is funny, especially considering my first one.
Yeah. I'm surprised you would. I'm surprised you don't love it.
I know. Well, yeah. I'll get into that more when I announce my number 1.
But yeah, Assassin's Creed. I played the first game, and I had no clue what this game had in store. And what really hooked me on the fact is that it takes fiction and it takes history and it melds it together perfectly.
Yeah, it's
all the places you visit and all the key characters you meet and assassinate in that game were real.
Yeah,
and it's just I was watching a live panel of last year's PAX Prime where they were talking about Assassin's Creed 3, and they had the Q&A section, and someone came up with the best question ever, and it was, how do you guys feel knowing that you created a game that teaches history better than schools? Right? Now, granted, you don't have the way that people die in the game isn't the way they died in real life.
No,
but those people were real. They died, and they were
died in that time period.
They died in that time period, and everything that was going on around that main storyline was actually happening. With Assassin's Creed 1, it was the Crusades going on.
Yes.
And
Assassin's Creed 2
was the Renaissance, right? And I get shit for this all the time. My favorite Assassin's Creed game will always be number 1. It's because it's the original. It's what got me started on it. And I know it's not as complex and sometimes as fun as the Ezio storyline or even Connor, but it's the fact that that's what got me hooked on this. If it wasn't for Assassin's Creed 1, I don't think I would be hooked on Assassin's Creed like I am now. Yeah. And I love the Ezio storyline, but Altair will always be the number 1 OG badass of Assassin's Creed.
And my number 1 is not Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could say it was, but due to a number of things, I cannot. I mean, I had played Assassin's Creed 1 and I loved it and I enjoyed it. It was a little repetitive, but it wasn't going to crack it probably cracked my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. And then I played Assassin's Creed 2, and that shot it up probably in the top 5, maybe the 6th.
Before you mentioned your number 1, I was trying to think. I'm like, what would his number 1 be? And then it clicked. I'm like, Jesus, how did I forget that?
But okay. So, little backstory as to why the real reason I can't say Assassin's Creed is my favorite. So I was playing Assassin's Creed 2. I had completed almost everything. I had 50 feathers to find. 50 feathers out of 100. And that was it. And I'd have 100% completion. That'd be the first game I ever had that with. And I loaded it up one day. I got home from school. This was when I was in high school. And save file corrupted.
Oh!
I was so angry.
I have a funny story about save file corrupted, because when I first played Assassin's Creed, I did the same thing. When you first enter Damask, which is the first city you visit in Assassin's Creed, it shows this big kind of like cinematic shot where he rides up, he stops, and you get a good overview of the city. Well, while that's happening, what you don't see in the bottom hand corner is the pop-up thing that recognizes that it's saving. And I think I had to go for a baseball game that day, and so I turned it off really quick. And I got home late at night. It gave me the corrupted save file. So I was like, damn it! But luckily I wasn't that far in, so I played it. So I started over again. But the thing is, though, I don't know if this is how it is for Xbox, but it is with PS3. When you have a corrupted save file for Assassin's Creed, if you try to start a new game, it won't save.
Oh!
So I get home later from that game. I start it up. I restart the whole thing, and I got probably about an hour past that original spot, and then turned it off. And I started it again the next day.
Nothing.
I had to start all over again.
Oh no!
And I was about to give up.
Demented Groundhog Day.
I know, and I was about to give up on this game. And I'm glad I didn't. I went into my save file. It's like, oh, save file corrupted. So I deleted that. Never had a problem with it again.
Okay.
I thought maybe the game was scratched. My system was messed up. Worst case scenario popped in my head. All that. I'm like, I gotta get rid of my PlayStation 3. And then I just realized I just needed to delete the corrupted file.
And then he did get rid of his PS3.
I did. And lots of hours of gaming and saved files and memories.
It's okay. You still have the memories.
I know.
You're not me, so you'll remember them.
But anyway, back on topic to...
My number 1.
Your number 1.
Fallout. The Fallout series.
Probably my number 4.
Yeah. But Fallout in general, I didn't even realize it until a friend at the time, Nick Higgins, said, hey, Josh, you like zombie games? Yeah, they're alright. You should really try this one. Here, he loaned me Fallout 3. That was the first one I played. And I went into it thinking it was a zombie game, so I was like, yeah, I'm preparing to
fight zombies.
To feel meh. And then it went through this beautiful backstory about the war and it's in 50s culture, which I loved anyway.
I love that too. It's set it's like post-apocalyptic future, but all the technology in it is futuristic, but it's in a 50s style.
Yeah, and the music is actual music. That's why I think one of the big kickers is actual music from the 50s. From the 40s and 50s.
Definitely.
I fell in love with it. I played day after day after day on that. And that was really what got me into like hardcore gaming. That and Pokemon. But and then my friend Mike Shamadias popped in and said, "Hey, I have this game. I just bought it for like $5, and I'm done with it. Do you want it?" Okay, it was actually 3 games. It was Fallout 1, Fallout 2, and Fallout Tactics.
I've never played those ones. I've only played Fallout 3 in New Vegas.
So very different than Fallout 3.
Are they?
Like, incredibly. First of all, it's a third-person top-down.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so to get used to that, it was a turn-based game, which I don't normally like, but but because of the lore and the backstory, I enjoyed it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I did not actually get to finish them, but I know how they end because I did so much research on it, and it's just it keeps drawing back. Like, I don't even. It's been how long since Fallout 3 was released?
Fuck if I know.
It's like 2008,
something like that. But it holds still.
That is still my most played game.
Probably, yeah. Josh talks about it like it's a religion. All the time. He talks about it like I talk about baseball or, Assassin's Creed.
Or Emma Watson.
But we'll get into that later.
But snap out of it.
Okay, my bad.
But yeah, to me, Fallout is kind of it's dark, which is something that appealed to me, especially at the time. It was really just a dark, gritty game, but it also it was laden with black humor everywhere, like and tons of little references. Like one of the guys that hired me to do an assassination job was named Mr. Crowley, which I at first thought of Aleister Crowley, the Satanist. But then I realized there's an Ozzy Osbourne song called Mr. Crowley.
Yes.
Which I think is actually about Aleister Crowley. So, but it's
and we've come full circle.
Exactly. But Fallout New Vegas actually kind of disappointed me.
Really?
In comparison to Fallout 3.
No, I've played Fallout 3 and I've played Fallout New Vegas. I haven't beat them, but I did log lots of hours into them.
Yeah.
And I gotta say they're a pretty fun game. I liked them. Mechanics really well.
I mean, they're Bethesda games, so they've got their fair share of glitches, but I didn't run into most of those.
No, I really didn't either. It's, beautiful. For post-apocalyptic, pretty beautiful scenery.
Yeah, it's this weird thing. It's like it's all destroyed, but it's just so beautiful and so well done. But the reason Fallout New Vegas kind of disappointed me was that Fallout 3 has an expansion pack.
Yeah.
And the only thing, Fallout New Vegas did spoil me in one way. Iron sights. Fallout 3 had terrible iron sights, horrible aiming. But and Fallout New Vegas actually had the concept of put my eyes behind the gun to see. But now I play Fallout 3 and I'm like, okay, iron sights. Crap! What do I do?
Yeah, it's weird. I do the same thing with Assassin's Creed. You go in to like Ezio's story and you got this whole arsenal, and you have this whole new set of abilities, and then you go play Assassin's Creed with Altair.
Oh crap!
So stripped down compared to Assassin's Creed 2, and you got to get used to it.
Yeah.
What I think I loved Assassin's Creed 3. What kind of annoyed me the most about it though was they changed up the button controls. So they had. So I was used to like hitting like X for counter or no. X for counter is in Assassin's Creed 3. I think B was the counter in Assassin's Creed 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And so I was used to hitting that. No, changed. It completely changed up. But it was what I love about the Assassin's Creed games is that each new game has different elements that the last one didn't. It has new new abilities and new arsenal. But it's quick to adapt.
Right.
You can pick up on it easily and you can get used to it again.
As for just in general, I didn't think I'd be as much of a fan of Fallout 3 as I am, like going in. But like I think another reason that I love it so much is just because it had those moments where it's not like most video games. Like in Assassin's Creed, I felt bulletproof.
Yeah.
There was no sense of danger for me there. And that's a lot of games, but in Fallout 3 specifically, it was every minute. I never had ammo for anything.
Yeah, it really grasps the concept of a post-apocalyptic war where it's survival and stuff's not infinite. There's a finite amount of everything.
Yeah. First time someone charged me like 200 caps for something, I'm like, I think that's slightly more money than there exists. And it has scares too. Like I got used to the game, and I'm like, okay, so this game isn't really that scary, which is good. I don't like scary stuff for the most part. Then I'm
a big pussy when it comes to scary movies. Ask anyone.
Same here. But then the first time I saw a super mutant.
Oh, jeez.
It was terrifying because in Fallout 3 there are two types of right there. There's right there, and then there's right the fuck banger. And it's that one moment of existential terror right before you know you're going to die.
Yep.
And I was walking along, and I checked my inventory. I had my only melee weapon was broken.
Mm-hmm.
I had no ammo for any of my guns.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, well, Rivet City's right there. I can just go. And then all of a sudden, a super mutant comes around the corner. Oh, crap. And so I just kind of blindly hit attack. And so I'm flailing with my fist. Eventually, he did drop dead, and I'm like, I am a god.
Now, what made me rage quit New Vegas was Death Claws.
So many more of them that are on Fallout 3.
God damn Death Claws. And what pisses me off most about them is that there was a mission I had to head to, and I think there was a way around, but it was so far around. I'm like, I don't have time for this.
I know exactly. This is one of the beginning missions.
I call it Death Claw Alley.
Yeah.
And
if you head straight north from Good Springs to New Vegas, don't do that.
No.
It's a bad idea.
Unless you are well equipped.
And even then,
there's
go with God.
Before you even enter like the Death Claw Alley, basically, there's signs that say Death Claws ahead, warning.
Yeah,
enter your own risk.
Didn't pay attention.
No, I was like, okay, I can take these down. No.
Partially because I don't know if this is true in New Vegas anymore, but in Fallout 3, Death Claws strikes ignore armor completely.
Yeah, they're like damn near bulletproof.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm going up straight north in New Vegas, I normally make sure I have 3 different guns, all with at least 300 bullets. I don't bother with armor because
most of the point.
Yeah, and I also make sure I have. This was introduced in one of the DLCs, a flare gun, because it has the sub thing, the sub effect. Terrify abominations. Death Claws are considered an abomination by the game. So if you fire them with the flare gun and it catches, they'll run.
See, I didn't know that.
Well, that's also one of the DLCs.
Okay.
Later. And oh lord, it cuts my travel time, and I can make it now. But
it went from fuck this to I'm gonna make it now.
Yeah. Well, there's also flashbangs.
Okay.
And all these things have Terrify Abomination because they're so bright.
Yeah.
There's flare gun, flashbangs. I think there's a couple other things, but I can make it with a handful of flashbangs and a flare gun.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, I was just.
That's
what made me quit New Vegas. I'm like, I'm never gonna get to this thing. There's no way I'm gonna level up enough to really make it there in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm like, you know what? It's a fun game. I'll let Josh handle it.
Well. The other thing that kind of drove me away from New Vegas back into the arms of Fallout 3 was in Fallout 3. It's all about survival of the fittest. You're scrounging for everything, whether it's food, ammo, medicine, or just tin cans. But in Fallout New Vegas, so much of that is provided for you, and it's a lot less focused on survival than it is on diplomacy and politics, which makes sense for the lore of the game.
Yeah.
Because Las Vegas, for those of you who don't know, wasn't hit by the nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
Because of some technological voodoo. But I just prefer the cut and dry survival of the fittest game.
Yeah.
Time for our runner-ups?
Yeah, we'll go runner-ups. My first runner-up goes hand in hand with Final Fantasy and JRPGs, but it's a Western-style JRPG. I would take it.
Okay, well...
Just listen. Hear me out.
Okay.
It's basically... I'll just go RPG then. Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, yeah. Which is
am
totally Japanese.
completely Japanese.
Yeah.
But I want to consider JRPG due to the fact that it is different. It's not turn-based. It's
more real time.
They took the good things of RPGs and they took the great things of JRPGs, mashed it together, and you've got Kingdom Hearts. Plus a sprinkle of Disney.
Yeah. And Final Fantasy too.
Yeah, Final Fantasy, which is another reason why I loved it, because I had a ton of Final Fantasy character favorites in it.
Yeah.
And
Squall,
Cloud, Sephiroth, Aerith,
Sid.
How do you not love Sid?
I love Sid.
Yeah, you even had.
I hate JRPGs and I love Sid.
You had Kid Waka and you had Kid Titus. And
yeah.
It was just amazing. And
Aerith.
I've only played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 because this is why it didn't make my top 3. I hate how Kingdom Hearts how cross-platform it is, but how cross-platform exclusive it is.
Yeah, it's so weird.
You have so many iterations of it. You have 358 Days Over 2, Birth by Sleep,
And-
Dream Drop Distance, or Chain of Memories, but they're all exclusive to one console.
Yeah, and that drives me nuts.
It drives me nuts. This is how it felt. It started on the PlayStation. It should stay on the PlayStation.
Uh-huh.
If you're gonna make it for other consoles, at least keep it on the PlayStation 2. Birth by Sleep could have it on PlayStation.
Chain of Memories is just weird.
Chain of Memories, I didn't like it because it was weird card. It was
like
weird
a card game.
card game, video game combat system, which confusing.
Was bizarre.
It was really bizarre. It'd probably be my least favorite of the Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
We're all still waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 to be announced, but that looks like just a pipe dream right now.
Yeah.
Well, no, I loved it. It was such a great just game to play.
Yeah.
Because
It was fun.
It was fun, and that's it. And I love Disney, and I love everything Disney's done. It was the fact that you could go into Disney worlds that you loved and fight bad guys.
Yeah.
And just kick ass and brawl.
Okay. And honestly, being Sora, I was kind of iffy on the character Sora, but I was teaming up with the Beast.
Teaming up with the Beast. Not to mention, Goofy was a boss. I despised Donald because every 5 seconds he was dying, so he was never in my party.
And Tarzan. Teaming up with Tarzan.
Tarzan was probably one of my favorite worlds you can go to, and one of my favorite things in there was that you could do the tree sliding.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing, I understand that summons are a big part of Final Fantasy in general, but I love the summons in Kingdom Hearts.
It was the fact
Simba.
Yeah, and you had Mushu and Stitch.
My personal favorite, Genie.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that.
Genie was a baller.
Which summons is one of my favorite things in the Final Fantasy. I
Yeah.
love Valthor and Ifrit and all those guys.
I know Ifrit. That's pretty much it.
Ifrit's like this demon.
I know him.
Yeah,
That's the one I didn't know.
Anyway, but yeah, and so when I found out you can get summons, I was like, "Oh, cool! Is that gonna be part?" Because at that point, I realized, Final Fantasy has a key role into this.
Right.
I thought, "Well, am I gonna get like Ifrit in Disney form?" And I kind of did with Mushu.
Who was a G?
It was a G, and it was just like.
I also love the backstory of these summons.
Yeah, no, and I love just the backstory in general of Kingdom Hearts.
Well, specifically with the summons, it added the sense of urgency to it. I need to do this quickly because, for those of you who don't know, but if you don't know, then why are you here? Because
Get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, come on, go drink some Drano. We'll leave. But it's because all these worlds are slowly dying because of the Heartless, but the summons are these characters who their worlds have already died.
But see, that kind of comes back and bites them in the ass because you play in a Mulan world in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, that's explained by I believe it's because Sora restored the worlds.
Yeah, but there's small discrepancies like that.
Yeah, which really aren't there if you look through the lore.
You look through the lore and really pay attention to the story.
But and I believe it's these characters had certain qualities that allowed them to live on as summons. Like I don't know.
The one thing I really loved about Kingdom Hearts is that the stripped down base moral of Kingdom Hearts is a lot like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And where the fact is that when it comes to facing evil and adversity and just overall bad things in your life, you can't do it by yourself.
Exactly.
You need your friends.
Teamwork.
You need to be able to swallow your pride and be able to be like, okay, I can't do this on my own. I need someone's help.
Yeah.
I need to be able to count on friends to help me make it through this.
Which sounds cheesy, but the way it's delivered is not at all.
It's beautifully delivered.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Kingdom Hearts stuck with me so much. But the reason why I didn't make my top 3 was the main fact that all the games are cross-platform exclusive.
Right.
So I never got to play Birth by Sleep
Or Chain
of Memories or 358 Days Over 2. I would have loved to, but I don't have the money.
Yeah. As for me, my first runner-up was I'm deciding between 2. I'm gonna go with Jak and the Jak series, Jak and Daxter, Jak 2, and Jak 3.
I actually never played it.
Really, that's funny.
People have told me to play it. I've never played it.
They're really good. Jak and Daxter is good. This is one of these rare cases where Jak and Daxter was good. It was a solid game. It was fun. Jak 2 was way better.
Yeah.
It was. And it showed character development. There was a whole theme of taming the dark side of Jak. And then there's Jack 3, where there's Dark Jack. So it's Jack, who is shown resistant to Dark Eco. There's Eco's basically mana. And then there's Dark Jack, after they experimented on him in Jack 2. And then there's this whole thing, there's a whole very big yin-yang motif in Jack 3, where they actually have light Eco, white Eco, and they use it to make a light Jack.
Nice. That's kind of cool, because it's kind of like Kingdom Hearts, where you have Sora, then you have Shadow Zora, or Heartless Sora, where it's like this cloudy, black, silhouetted figure Sora, and then you have Roxas, who is one of my favorite Kingdom Hearts characters. Yeah. Easily. Also, quick side note, I forgot to mention this. Another reason why I love Kingdom Hearts 2 more than Kingdom Hearts, because there was just so much more to it, and I felt it was a lot more fun, and you had so much more to do.
Yeah.
And also...
And Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh. But you got to see Cloud and Leon team up.
Every Final Fantasy nerd's best dream.
God. I thought my TV was going to explode from the awesomeness. And it's amazing because you're fighting that Hollow Bastion. You're about to go into this battle of 1,000 Heartless where Sora literally kills 1,000 Heartless.
Yeah.
And you have this one cutscene where it goes in between of everybody fighting, the Heartless.
Beast. And
you see everybody just going. It's just complete mayhem. And it's just a complete all-out brawl, war thing. And you see Leon fighting. He's fighting someone, and he sits there, he backs up, and he's taking a breath because he just got fighting. And then all of a sudden, right behind him, you see his hair first. Cloud backs up to him too. And, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It was so amazing because they're just sitting there back to back, swords drawn, and they're getting surrounded by Heartless. And just I think Leon says something like, "You ready for this?" And they go nuts. And it was easily any Final Fantasy fan's wet dream.
Can you see he enjoyed this?
Yeah.
But I lost my train of thought.
Oh, you were on Jack and Daxter.
Yeah.
Lightning Phil.
Yeah. Well, back to Jack. Even the motif in Jack 2, there was this bar that you had that told you how much Dark Eco you had, so you could unleash Dark Jack, which was a terror. But in Jack 3, that meter is actually a yin yang symbol. Fills up with Dark Eco and Light Eco as you get them, and it's really cool. You get all these abilities, but throughout the whole thing, Daxter, his buddy, is a constant. Never changes again from his Ocelot form, and
that's what he is.
I think so. I have no idea, but he's a thing.
He looks like some kind of weasel ferret. I'm
gonna call him a ferret now.
Okay, sure.
But because
the Ocelot's a cat.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't look like a cat.
I'm gonna call him a wallaby.
Sure,
but
he's a thing.
Well, anyway, but he's a constant, and he's always there to support Jack. And in fact, between Jack 2 and the beginning of Jack 2, it comes in. Jack's 14 years old. He gets taken away, and Daxter's separated from him.
Yeah.
And then he's experimented on for 4 years. And there's actually the spin-off game, Daxter, for the PSP, that's about Daxter trying to free Jack. And it's kind of got that whole teamwork motif in there. With that and various characters. And I think there was one scene in Jack 3 where there was the leader. I don't remember, this was a very long time ago that I played this, but there was the leader of the city Spargus. That I don't know why that name stuck with me.
Yeah.
But that was the city that kind of took Jack in. The king there. There was a man who used to be part of the quote unquote peacekeepers in the city of Jack 2, who was fighting alongside Jack. And then there was one character from the first game who had survived. It was a girl that Jack had come to know before. She was, it's like Cyberpunk. She has the eye patch and all the badass stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to see, that's all the generations of Jack right there fighting at the same time. And it was really cool.
I do have another honorable mention that I just thought of. I've only played one game from the series, but I've heard enough about it, and I've read up enough about it. Is the Mass Effect series, and I think what makes it, let alone just such a great game, is the fact that the choices you make in number 1 will affect you in number 2 and affect you in number 3.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, I've only played Mass Effect 2. In Mass Effect 3. There's choices you can make, if you made the right choices in Mass Effect 1.
Yeah.
And that's if you imported your character all the way through the games.
Right, which I don't see why you wouldn't.
Yeah, well, yeah. But just the brilliance of that.
Yeah.
And just the thought process that BioWare went through just to get that, let alone just that on its own.
Yeah.
Just makes it such a great game and such a great series. And Mass Effect 2, I have a lot of fun playing it. And it's like, I love free roam games where I can go around and collect and explore.
They kind of did in Mass Effect 2.
You
could free roam like 6 miles of land.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't have free roam of an entire planet. But you had free roam of the area you were in. And you could still explore and find a lot of cool stuff in it.
I couldn't get into the Mass Effect series.
Mm-hmm.
I played Mass Effect 1, and I got lost. And in games, with the exception of Fallout 3, I really have no sense of direction whatsoever. So I got lost in Mass Effect 1, and I was in the Citadel place, and I got lost. I got lost to the point where I just frustrated and rage quit. But I think that's one game. The one game I rage quit.
I have the same problem with Minecraft.
Josh
doesn't like Minecraft.
I don't.
But it's not really an honorable mention. It's kind of a fun game to play. But you just mentioned rage quit because you got lost. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Where like I'll have this. I won't set my spawn, and I'll have so much like stuff and awesome items on me, and then I'll make a mistake of like falling into lava or dying, and then when I spawn in the middle of nowhere and I have no idea where I am, and I'm just like, you know what, fuck this, I'm just start a new world.
But my second runner-up is kind of funny because it's a contrast to one of Jake's big three. Is what I call it the modern day dark and gritty Assassin's Creed. I'm a fan of the Hitman series.
Never played a single one.
They're good. Actually, they require a little more thought and planning than Assassin's Creed does.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard they're really good games, and from what I've seen of them, they look excellent.
And I've played Hitman Blood Money. I played Hitman Contracts. I played, and recently I actually got a chance to play Absolution, which I want to get, but I don't have the money.
This thing that's called broke.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I played Absolution, and I walked in as in Chinatown, and I'm supposed to assassinate one guy who's guarded by an entourage of dirty cops.
Yeah.
And
I've seen this game play before. I've seen it on YouTube videos, and like it's just fun to watch how they do it. How they do it, because in Hitman, especially Absolution, there's so many different ways you can kill a person.
Well, there are achievements for 12 different ways in that one level, and when it said, when it was describing to me, like, doing the tutorial, like, this is how you do this, it said there are at least 12 different ways to kill this man. You get achievements for those 12. Just like, oh Lord, and they're weird. Like, I haven't figured it out, but I want to learn, and it's a real thing, how to poison somebody.
I've heard about that too.
And I could not figure it out for the life of me.
It's like it took me because you can poison people in Assassin's Creed, and it took me a while to realize how to do it.
Well, in Assassin's Creed 2 specifically,
it
was pretty easy.
Well, yeah,
once you figured it out.
Yeah, once you figure it out, like I think
probably it's like a hit. But it wasn't that hard to figure out. I mean, it gave you a little tutorial on it. Yeah,
but there was like I get them mixed up between like I thought it was like what it was a poison tip. Blade. No, it's poison darts. Yeah, and so that confused me the most.
It looked like in Hitman, like it just told me that you could poison. That was it. I guess that kind of frustrated me.
Mm-hmm. But it adds to the puzzle effect.
It does, and and it's kind of fun. It's what I call a water cooler game. Mm-hmm. You sit around the wall, water cooler, and talk about how you did different things with friends. Like talking to Jamie, he said that the Chinatown one. First I did it by I went to this guy's like Porsche. And I set a remote explosive on it, and then I broke the window down so the car alarm started. Yeah. I ran off and hid, and I waited for the guy to get right next to the car and blew it up.
Oh, nice.
James, our friend, we talked to him a lot, or I talked to him a lot, but Jake's going to start.
Yep.
He went up to the top of a building, found a sniper rifle, and took him out.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't say this at the time, James, if you're listening, but when you said that, I said, Of course it was a sniper rifle. Because in our games and in Skyrim, he uses a bow. He always makes a ranger or a sniper character. Mm-hmm. Why didn't I... Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this one gameplay where there's this restaurant kind of off to the side of the the town square where you're supposed to kill the guy. You can kill the owner of the restaurant, the guy serving you, change his clothes into it, and you can poison the guy's food.
Yeah.
Or you can just pull out a gun and shoot him right there. But I hear it's easier just to poison him.
Yeah, well,
And I was like, that's just such a great way to kill, or to like, that's just to think of a way to like kill him in that position.
We think Tumblr's training us to be assassins.
For real.
But like with Hitman, I mean, it's just great. It's good if you want a puzzle, or it's good to just mow down people. I mean,
yeah.
I was playing and I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'll be stealthy up until someone sees me. Someone like saw me and figured out who I was, shot him in the head. I just went around with guns blazing, just boom, boom. I didn't actually care whether or not they were guilty or innocent, or just a citizen just chilling there. They all met my shotgun.
Nice.
And it was, but that's a perfectly legitimate way to play. Although you do lose a ton of points for that because you lose points for non-target kills and you lose points for citizen kills. So I lost a lot of points.
Yeah, probably.
Like, there's one part where you have to pick a lock in a hotel, and normally it's pretty difficult because you got all these guys walking around. There was nobody left on the floor to see me. Just, all right, let's go. But yeah, it was
one of my. It definitely probably it makes my top 10. If I were to list it, it'd probably be number 6. Is the Grand Theft Auto series.
But Grand Theft Auto, it never really made an impression on me.
Which is why it's not in like. Which is why it like never really made a big impact and like really cracked my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
But it is a fun game where you can just go around and bullshit. You can just do whatever you want. You can drive around and mow people over, or you can go on a rampage.
And if you want a really ridiculous game, go Saints Row.
Yep. Which is basically like if you took Grand Theft Auto
and made it awesome.
And made it not necessarily awesome because I love Grand Theft Auto. And people love Saints Row. But it's like if you took Grand Theft Auto and just made it like 10 times like goofier. Crazier and goofier.
Well, okay. But it's kind of like Saints Row, the first one, is played pretty straight.
Yeah.
But Saints Row 2 has the perfect balance between like crazy. There's a mission where you steal a septic truck and hose down houses with fecal matter. But and like it has that, and then there's like the straight up gang stuff, and then there's Saints Row the third.
Where you go around and beat people with a giant purple dildo.
Knew you were going to bring the dildo.
It's so funny.
Wobble, 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 wobble.
Exactly. It's fun to beat people with it, but it's just fun to run around and watch it because the tip of it just like wiggles around. And it's like a...
To give you guys some context, this thing is about 4 feet long.
It's a dildo shoved on a baseball bat.
It really is.
A giant
It's a little terrifying.
Yeah. It's called... What's it called?
The Penetrator.
Not to mention you got introduced into jumping over people and then punching them in
that was fun.
Junk, which is always fun and funny.
Or like stealing cars by jumping through the window, smashing them out the door, driving off.
Going real Dukes of Hazzard on it.
Though, I found out recently, I was playing it and I thought, this is kind of a really over-the-top gang game.
Yeah.
But it makes perfect sense as a superhero game.
Really?
Well, because you got all the military coming in and the bad guys with the whole huge explosion. And you can wear a superhero costume.
Nice. Now, what is your favorite standalone game? It's not in a series, it's just a single game.
This shoots down my last one.
What?
Well, as I said, it shoots down my last one because it's in a series, but I only ever really liked this game of it.
What is it?
Red Dead Redemption.
That's a series? Oh.
Red Dead Revolver.
Red Dead Revolver.
And then there was another one before that.
Was there?
Yeah, but on the car.
See, I always thought Red Dead Redemption was... Because is John Marston the...
No.
Okay, so we'll count it as a standalone. Because it's not the same person. Like, the same main character.
Well, shoot, neither is Fallout 3.
But, shut up. Okay, so we'll count as a series, but I'll count it as a standalone game, too.
Okay.
Because when you hear Red Dead Redemption, people aren't going to think... People think of it... I think people find it as a standalone game.
For the most part, especially with Undead Nightmare.
Yeah. Best DLC ever.
Dude, riding the horses of the apocalypse.
Yes!
Come on! I mean, riding war. Zombies burst into flame when they touch war. Writing death. Hey, guess what? Insta kill.
But yeah, I gotta say that's definitely that's probably my hands down favorite standalone game because I'm a huge fan of the Wild West.
Yeah, me too.
I always felt like I was born in the wrong era, and I should have been born in the Wild West. I should be riding into town with 2 6-shooters on my side, or a bandolier full of bullets, and just on a horse. And when I ride into town, people just know my presence. People are like, don't mess with that guy.
All right, Jonah Hex.
No, not that. I don't want to be like Jesse James.
Jesse James was a kid.
Dude, Jesse James will fuck you up. All right?
He was a choir boy.
And he robbed trains and killed people.
But you know what? You know who's more badass?
Who?
Butch Cassidy.
That's true.
Never killed anybody, but was a crack marksman.
You know who was even better?
Sundance?
Doc Holliday.
Never mind. Doc Holliday's kind of the trump card of the Wild West.
Yeah, that's right. And my favorite character in Red Dead Redemption was the old school gunner guy you found in
Landon Ricketts.
Yes, that was it.
Found
Oh
down
my
in Mexico.
god, yeah.
Oh, he was just such a badass.
When you beat the spoilers, but it's been out for how long? So
Wow.
So
long enough.
it broke my heart because you can read newspapers and up to date stuff,
Yeah.
and you become Jack Marston, and you pick
Landon
up the
Ricketts.
first.
Oh, yeah.
The first paper you pick up as Jack Marston. In the bottom right hand corner, it talks about how the old school gunslingers passes away, and it talks about how Landon Ricketts died. But my favorite thing about it is he died peacefully in Mexico.
That's
He didn't die in a gun or a showdown. He just died peacefully.
great.
But it was so sad. I'm like, oh, Landon, no.
But yeah, man.
It's just such a great game. And it's got a great story. It's got great mechanics. And
It's great.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like is tap A to run?
yeah, but
Come on,
that
people.
comes with the whole. Well, you can hold down A and
It was made by Rockstar.
If you hold down A, he goes at a jog. But you tap down A and make him sprint, and that comes along with the Grand Theft Auto thing because because originally it was. In Grand Theft Auto 3, when you held down the sprint button, he just sprinted for not forever, but a certain amount of time. Then he had to stop and walk. But people found out if you tapped A, dude ran forever.
Yeah.
And so Rockstar implemented that, and instead of just making it to where he sprints constantly if you just hold A, he starts running. But then if you tap A, he sprints.
Yeah, which
sprints faster than his running.
Rockstar games where making a person walk feels like driving a car, and driving a car feels like driving a car with another car upside down on top of it.
Yep. And I won't get into the driving mechanics on Grand Theft Auto 4.
But I've heard, what was it? One critic called Red Dead Redemption a great horse's ass simulator. Because, you better like the horse that you're riding.
Yeah.
You're going to see that ass for a long time.
Yeah, because there's you can fast travel, but you have to get in the middle of the
I
desert.
I actually got
ridiculously
attached to my horse.
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't give a shit about my horse.
Okay, so I was doing my best against these bandits, and then one of them kills my horse, and it's when I call my untouchable / beast mode from Injustice came out, and
you just go.
I don't know what happened, but it was and Deadeye do, but without the actual Deadeye.
Yeah, I want another Red Dead game.
I do too,
but I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Do you have Red Dead Redemption on Xbox yet?
I don't.
You should get it soon.
I should.
Because I have it, and Red Dead Online is one of the greatest.
I love Red Dead Online.
But
I just want to get it again because I want to play the story again.
The story. The story.
It's a game. It's a game where I could play the story over and over again and not get tired of it.
Yeah.
I could get to the point where I could quote the whole thing word for word and not get tired of it.
Like me with Fallout 3.
Yeah, exactly. I would say standalone. Red Dead's my my Fallout.
Yeah.
Where I can just I pumped so many hours into it and had so much fun with it and just never got tired of it because once you're done with the main storyline, there's a shitload of stuff you can do.
Oh yeah, there's just it's I cannot think of a word to encompass.
I played it for so long after I beat the story, and I still, from what I can tell, still didn't come close to even 100%ing the game. And it was the same thing with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Brotherhood's my second favorite. If Assassin's Creed 1 didn't happen, and just started out with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood would be my all-time favorite, because after you completed the story, there was so much you can do afterwards for the guilds, for random people, just all that. It was just it was so amazing. It was that was another game where I could just pump hours into it and never get tired of it.
With Red Dead, I'm actually a different gamer than I am with Fallout.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because Fallout and Skyrim, I'm a very single-minded player. I want to do this quest. I want to finish it because I tried playing Fallout with doing what very whimsical, and oh god, I never got one quest finished because I was like, oh, there's another quest, and then I picked that one up and started doing that and be like, oh, there's another quest.
Yeah, that's another thing I noticed about Fallout is that it's not necessarily a bad thing, but there's so much to do.
I love
so
that.
much, and it doesn't once you
can
start,
either love it or hate it.
Yeah,
right?
once you start on a mission, you don't have to stay on that mission. You can
Right.
find side quests to do and then come back to the main story.
With Red Dead, so that's why I'm in Skyrim and in Fallout 3. I'm a very focused, single-minded player.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I blew through the Dragonborn DLC in just under 2 hours.
Yeah.
But with Red Dead Redemption, I'm much more of a lackadaisical, whimsical, distracted player.
That's kind of how the game is, though.
Well, I don't know why. I'm terrible at the game of horseshoes in it. The minigame.
I hate it.
But
Same
I
here.
can't stop playing.
I know. It's that kind of thing where I sit there and I'll play it. I'm like, he beat me again. Motherfucker beat me again. I can't stop until I beat him.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, just like with fighting games.
Shut up.
But with me, I'll just play horseshoes, and I'll just get into this Zen trance and keep playing. Or the one. It's funny. Probably the game that I play least the meta game, as I call it, the game within a game.
Yeah.
Is Five Finger Fillet.
No, I suck at that so much.
I'm pretty good at the poker though.
Yeah, poker, I'm good at.
Actually, 9 times out of 10.
But I'm good at poker in general. So.
9 times out of 10 in Red Dead Redemption, I'll go to poker. I'll wear the suit that allows you to cheat, and then I'll cheat so I can get caught.
Yeah.
Because I love the duels.
Yeah. That was a great mechanic. I love the duels.
And
Now when you did duels, what did you do? Did you go straight for the kill, or did you go to shoot the gun out of his hands?
it depends, because I went through playing Red Dead.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a shift in character from in reality. So at the beginning, I would go for the kill instantly.
Yeah.
But as time passed and I became more enamored of being the good guy, I would go for disarm.
I like going for disarm because I just like the thought of how badass it would be to see a duel.
Oh god!
To see a duel where you don't kill the person, but you shoot the damn gun out of their hands.
Yeah.
And thinking about
it increases your reputation by
No, one of my favorite things to do was to put on the bandana though and go on a rampage.
Yeah.
Because you put on the bandana and it doesn't
I don't understand.
Yeah, because when you make good choices and you do good things, you get notoriety where people are like, oh, I'll come to you with problems and people will like you and respect you. But if you screw up and start doing bad things where you start mowing down people, that's exactly it. It goes down and you become notoriously bad.
9 times out of 10, the only bad thing I would do, I'd put the bandana on and then desperately wish I had a giant mustache so I could twist it while I tied the lady to the tracks.
Oh jeez. No, I would never tie anybody to the tracks and let the train run, but I would go into town like Armadillo or
go on a rampage.
Thieves Landing and just mow everyone down.
I guess I enjoyed. Of course, I enjoyed a good rampage. Who doesn't? But also a mechanic that I love is holding up people.
Yes.
You threaten them, and they put their hands in the air unless they had a gun and they thought they were good enough with it, and then they try to come at you.
I also, what I love about Rockstar's games, Rockstar in general is probably one of my favorite distributors and developers because they make it to where there's so much more you can do besides the story mission. And they keep it relatively organized.
And they make Rampages fun.
They make Rampages fun. And they also have fun, they tend to have fun mini games in it too. I really loved hunting in Red Dead.
Yeah, me too.
That was really fun. And if you played Undead Nightmare, you can find Bigfoot.
Yeah, I did. There's actually a whole quest around that. I did that. Oh, it was heartbreaking.
Did you kill him or did you leave him?
I killed him.
The same here.
I wasn't going to be that cruel.
Yeah.
But there are 2 creatures that I have yet to be able to kill in an Undead Nightmare. Sorry, no. There's 1 creature I haven't killed and 1 horse I haven't tamed. The Chupacabra. In Undead Nightmare is a thing, and I desperately want to kill it, but I can never find it.
I can't find it either.
But here's the thing. If you see it, and it runs away.
Yeah.
That is it.
I know. That's what I found out about it too. Is that because I was looking up online of where to find it. You find it somewhere in Mexico.
Yeah, of course.
Because that's the Chupacabra lore. But you only get one chance to kill it.
And if you screw up, then that sucks.
Yeah, it's like you missed that chance, and it's achievement too if you kill it.
Yeah, it's a Chupa thingy.
Yeah, which is a reference to Red vs. Blue.
Yeah.
And I like Red. I don't watch Red vs. Blue religiously, but I'm a fan of Rooster Teeth, so I'll watch it from now and then. And so when I found out that was an achievement, I was like, that's awesome.
The horse I haven't broken yet is the unicorn.
I forgot how you...
No, you have to have tamed all four horses of the apocalypse.
And then you gotta find it somewhere, right?
Yes.
Now, is he...
Find it and break it.
I can't remember. Is it like the Chupacabra where you can only find it
I don't think
once?
so. I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
I can't remember either. I haven't been able to find it.
I do know that when you ride it, rainbows come out of its ass.
Yeah.
Like, super serious, and I kind of want it just for that purpose.
If you ride Death, poo dribbles out its head.
And with, I think it's Pestilence, flies are everywhere.
Yes.
Which actually
Pestilence, I meant.
Which actually got incredibly annoying because hearing all the time.
What was your favorite horse?
I want to say War, but it was probably Famine.
I liked War. I just like riding through because you'd ride through tiny little canyons, and there'd be hordes of zombies, and you're just like.
Actually, no. I'm gonna go with Death. Actually.
Really?
Yeah, because part of that was Death was part of the plot.
Yeah, that's true. But I just like riding through canyons and setting them all ablaze.
Which that War was my first horse, and
War's the first horse you break. You can't find any other horses until you break War.
Well, okay, so I broke War, and then so apparently they have unlimited stamina.
Yeah.
I rode War to death.
What?
I did. I think it was a glitch.
It might have been because I would ride them as hard as I could, and like their health never went down.
I rode them from tall trees to Mexico, which is from like the top right corner of the map, bottom left, and about 3/4 of the way, he just buckles under me and sends me going. I'm like, what? And War's dead. I was like,
I think that might have been a glitch because as far as I can remember, it can't.
The other thing was something I didn't. I didn't like it until I found there was a lore reason for it.
Uh-huh.
When you called a horse an Undead Nightmare, occasionally you get a zombie horse.
Yeah.
And if you rode that, it would just continually turn. You'd have to keep correcting it. Yeah, it's a thing. But there are two things. One, if you come back, at the end, to do other stuff, you're Zombie Marston.
I hated that.
I liked it.
I didn't. I didn't like it because I like playing as John Marston, and because he just looks like a badass.
But if you're Zombie Marston, the zombie horses don't pull, but living ones do. And
I never noticed this.
And zombie horses pull south. In Red Dead Redemption, I found this out one time. I decided, okay, I want to see what this horse thinks it's doing.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would keep turning, but it just kept going south, straight down to Mexico, straight to the mask. The mask that is like the Aztec mask. That's like the whole cause of Undead Nightmare.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they go to the source.
Oh!
Yeah!
Holy shit!
That's really cool!
Rockstar, you clever bastard!
So at first I hated that, because I'm like, oh god, I want to... And then I found out, I'm like, this is so amazingly cool.
That's such a cool little thing.
I cannot comprehend how
because
cool
if I remember right, they never explained that.
No.
Yeah, that's probably something you have to look up or figure out on your own. Yeah. That's crazy. I love that.
Yeah, that was just awesome. But living horses pull north, away from it.
Well, yeah, that's understandable. I mean, it's...
Well, I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the horses of the apocalypse who just don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. You take your zombies, I'm a horseman of the apocalypse.
Yeah, that's true.
The other one was, one thing I never got in Undead Nightmare was it's the apocalypse hunter or something costume. And it looks like Van Helsing.
Does it really?
Long trench coat, hat with a red feather in it, bandolier under the coat.
I never got it either.
Oh, you look like Van Helsing.
My favorite costume you could wear in Red Dead period was the duster coat. He just looked like a badass in it.
It's because he's a badass.
Yeah,
but,
it's John Marston.
Though my favorite one was actually as a birthday present. one of the guys who helped buy Red Dead for me gave me his pre-order code for the Deadeye, the I don't remember what it's called. It's like the Merciless the Bounty Hunter one outfit, where it's a pre-order only, and it's he has an eye patch and it gives you more Deadeye.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I love partially because of the effect, partially because it's John Marston with an eye patch. I mean,
nice. It does sound very entertaining.
Yeah. Well,
we're running kind of long. I was just looking at that.
Yeah.
You've gone through. You've heard us how we talk about our favorite video games, and you found out what our favorite video games were. And
yeah.
Do you want to run over your list again, real quick?
If I can remember it. Number 3, I believe, was Soul Calibur.
Mm-hmm.
2 was the Elder Scrolls series / Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 was Fallout.
Yep. And mine was Halo. I was forgot my list. We've been talking so much about all the other random games. No, it was Halo, then Final Fantasy, and then Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
And send us an inbox or a message in our inbox or in the comments below, and just let us know what your favorite series were, or how you guys felt about our lists.
Yeah. And I mean, I check you can also send them to our Gmail at nerdquestingfornerdquest@gmail.com. I check that religiously. It's on my phone. If I haven't answered a question or a comment, it's because I've been too lazy / busy.
I check the Tumblr religiously. That's it's nerd quest-podcast.tumblr.com.
All right.
I check it all the time, so send us a message there. I think it pops when we get a message. It pops up on Josh's phone, so you can let me know too. I'm always checking the YouTube account for comments and then for views. Our last podcast, our zombie one.
Yeah.
I think it's the quickest one up to 25 views.
Yeah. We are so excited about that.
4 days. Yeah, like we said last time when we thanked everyone, it doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, it's 25 views, and that's compared to videos that get millions.
Yeah, all these Rooster Teeth.
But it comes down to the fact that how much this is just a pet project right now, and we didn't know what to expect coming into this.
I honestly expected maybe 5 or 10.
I was expecting some of our closest friends just to listen to it.
Yeah,
but the fact that we're getting more than that, and we have
it's really exciting, and it paints this bright future for us.
It does.
And
we're hopeful for it. We're not.
We're not expecting. We're hopeful.
Yeah, we're not expecting this to exactly blow up and become a huge thing, but we're hopeful that it might not necessarily become like a world-renowned podcast, but something well-known at least.
Yeah,
and it'd be nice to hit triple-digit subscribers and stuff like that.
That's just hard for me to process.
I know. I'm ecstatic about having 12 right now.
Are you kidding me?
But yeah, so we appreciate you guys listening, and we can't thank you enough right now.
And stay tuned for our next podcast next week on...
We have a Pottercast again.
Yeah.
Josh and I have come to the decision, since there's so much we love about Harry Potter, and there's so much to talk and discuss about, that once a month we will have one Pottercast, and we'll normally have it where we have friends as guests.
Yeah.
And it's just
talk about Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. We're gonna do it once a month because Harry Potter is what really brought Josh and I together as friends.
Yup, Scrubs.
That and Scrubs, but it also is what brought a lot of, at least for me, a lot of my nerdy friends from high school that brought us together is through the Harry Potter Club, and that's what kind of
us giving back.
I guess it is, and it's just us even though she'll never hear it, it's us thanking Roland for giving us something that we can love and that we can all talk about and share common ground on.
If you have questions or comments, tell us what you think of the idea of having a Pottercast. About once a month.
Tell us what you want to hear in the podcast.
Yes, and what are your favorite game series?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Tell us, let us know, and let us know what you think about our list.
You can message us once again at Jake's personal Tumblr,
farnyj.tumblr.com.
Is it still Farny? Is it Farny J or Farny Diesel?
Oh, Farny Diesel. Sorry. FarnyDiesel.tumblr.com.
You can send a message to mine, but I'm never on my personal Tumblr anymore.
He's really not.
MorpheusDreamJosh.tumblr.com.
And then we'll put them in the links. Also, like I said, nerd-quest-podcast.tumblr.com.
And, our Nerdquest Podcast, all caps, on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You can message us there. You can comment on our videos. Please do.
Please do. We encourage it, and we love hearing from you guys. Our questions last week for our zombie podcast made us so happy.
Yes.
And it was so awesome to see people asking those questions. So keep sending them in. Like we said, next week, Harry Potter podcast. Send us stuff you want to hear and send us questions about Harry Potter.
And one more time, our Gmail is nerdquesting for Nerdquest, all one word, no caps, no spaces, @gmail.com.
Thanks for taking time and listening to us, guys. I know we'll probably have our comic book movie miscast podcast in the near future once we decide to research more.
Yep.
All right. So thanks again for listening.
Time to sign out.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Bye.